It's the undisputed world number one, ranked in the top 10 since Gameweek 17, fighting out of Manchester, England, Max Little Proud. Max, how you doing, mate? Good to see you.
I mean, that was the best introduction I could have possibly asked for. I feel like Floyd Mayweather, Tyson Fury right now, sort of, undisputed. Well, currently undisputed, hoping to be champion. But yeah, I like that. I'm feeling very good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. Apologies for that intro. Apologies for everyone that had to listen to that. But I just thought we have got the world number one engaged in the FPL community. You've been on X for all season. You've been on Sky Sports' pod. You've done various YouTube bits. You are an active member of the FPL wider community,
Yeah.
but you're world number one. And we're getting to document your journey. I feel like just coming on and being like, oh, here's my mate Max, let's have a chat about FPL. It's not enough. You need more than that.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
bigging you up because it's a privilege to be able to follow your journey. And whether you finish 10th or first or 100th, I think it's awesome that on this channel we're able to at least see your journey. So thank you so much for joining me again this week, mate. In today's show, we'll obviously look at your big decisions. Like, you've got 1.1 million in the bank, you've got a free transfer, you've got a decision to make on captaincy, you've got a decision to make on assistant manager, and a decision to make potentially on a transfer to your team. So yeah, we've got loads to discuss, haven't we? I mean, as we record this is being recorded on Wednesday, and you are current world number one, which is always fun. I mean, just in general, how are you feeling with kind of like those sorts of? Are you feeling any pressure?
Well, I mean, I had the after the Everton Liverpool game, I had the slight dip, went down to third, clawed it back to second Friday night, and then back to first, I think, Saturday night. I mean, I was feeling a slight pressure going into the game this evening with Liverpool against Villa, but now that Cody Gakpo is out injured, that was the only sort of, well, not the only real danger. I mean, there's Emery still, but I can't see Villa beating Liverpool. So I'm feeling pretty good, as we go into the some important game weeks coming up.
Yeah, okay, love that. Well, I'm obviously rooting for you, and I'm looking at all the teams around you to go, oh, who's their assistant manager? Oh, have they got Gakpo?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, loads will be watching this before that Liverpool game. Some will be watching after, and it's still going to be super relevant because we're going to go through your decisions based on the information we have. And when we look at your bus team, I mean, you look very well set. I mean, that back three is locked in. Pickford in goal looks nice. The midfield doesn't need any surgery. And then up front, you've got three big names. Like, this has been missing. I mean, this has been really unfortunate of late. Chris Wood's been amazing. And Isak, we know what he does. I mean, what are your top line thoughts here? Like, you've got Slot. You've still got players like Rodgers you could transfer out. Are you thinking your transfer will be used this week on an assistant manager or a player? Or is rolling an option? I mean, we'll go through all those options in more detail in a sec. But what's your, I guess, top line, like instant, this is what I'll probably do this game week?
Yeah, just like you said, I mean, the team is really decent. I mean, there's already some benching headaches. The back three are currently what I've got set there. But I mean, Aina and Hall could easily play. I mean, Hall against Forest, Aina against Newcastle. I'm kind of sort of putting them on the bench because I don't want to have that decision-making process about who's going to win. I've got Isak and Wood both starting. It's a good team. I could easily roll it and leave it. And like I've said previous times, I want to bank some transfers for 29. But I've already done the planning a little slightly ahead and looking at what I could bring in the fixtures. I don't think I actually need that many transfers. I'm not going to free hit in 29. I just want 11 playing players, 3 on the bench. That's fine. But yeah, I think currently I'm thinking it's going to have to be a manager change just for the safety and points. I think Slot against City. It's not a bad fixture, but City looked pretty good against Newcastle the weekend. They look revitalised. They look almost like a City of the old. But might be a manager transfer, but I could easily see Rodgers because I mean Rodgers is gonna make way for 29 regardless. So if it happens this week, it happens next week, a week after, he's gonna go regardless. So there's some decisions to be made.
I like that. I mean, let's talk about Rodgers then and that slot, because a lot have got Rodgers and a lot will be looking at 29 saying he doesn't have a game. I've got to sell him. But for you to sell him this week just gives you a further benching dilemma. Like if you sell Rodgers to a Bournemouth midfielder straight away, you're like, oh, do I have to bench Visser? I don't want to do that. Do I have to bench whoever? I don't want to do that. So I guess for you, it can be a kind of unless any of those players are injured, and we hear in press conferences that you've got a big doubt,
Yeah.
probably like it's worth holding the transfer. I mean, if you were to make the move, Rodgers, I'm guessing it'd be this man we'd be looking at, wouldn't it?
It's that. I mean, after everything I was saying about Semenya, completely gone off Semenya. I don't know what. I've completely averted him. I went for Cliver, and now Dango is going to be the sort of the second Bournemouth player that I bring in. But again, like you just say, if I bring him in this week for Rodgers, I probably see him on the bench because I mean, the Brentford fixture against Leicester is really, really good on paper. I know Vista's missed a lot of chances at the weekend. I was quite fortunate that he did because he was actually on my bench. But it's too much of a headache when you bring Dango in. Like you say, might as well just leave it for the week after and try and go for those assistant manager points. But Dango's, I mean, he scored at the weekend. He looked lively. He looks really, really good. The Bournemouth just looks really good again. It's a hard decision to make, definitely.
I guess the beauty of bringing him in now is things like price rises. Like if he scores against Wolves, he's going to go up straight away. And then if there is a surprise in the team selection and you have Dango first sub, at least you know you've got a better first sub than Rodgers coming on. But who knows what happens against Wolves? He could get injured. And again, we could hear a little bit more about Evan Nilsson's return to injury. I think Evan Nilsson, there's a chance he's back by like game week 30. We can see game week 29, 15th of March. Game week 30 is not to the 1st of April. There's 2 weeks between that. But you've got to think with Evan Nilsson, he's going to be eased back in. His first 2 appearances will probably be off the bench.
Probably.
I also think if Dango's scoring goals, Evan Nilsson might come into the 11, but Dango will be moved out wide because Dango isn't a number 9. I still think Dango is a very safe bet for minutes because he's playing well and scoring goals. And you could see him out on that left-hand side and Semenyo playing on the right. You could see him playing second striker instead of Kluivert. Like the way we're watching Bournemouth at the minute, and you and I have discussed Bournemouth to death, but it's really interesting because every week our ranking of those 3 mids changes. And this is a average pass map and position map from between the posts from the weekend. Now, I watched this game like you, and I went into it going, Kluivert, Semenyo, Dango. It's a bit of a lottery. I did have Dango at 1. He's the guy I bought, but it was so marginal. Coming out of this game, I went, Dango is the one.
Yeah.
And then Semenyo and Kluivert, it's difficult. You went Kluivert. He did get subbed off at 75 minutes, and we'll see that a bit with Kluivert, the early sub. Semenyo gets to 90, but then he's playing wider. But he did nearly score an unbelievable goal.
Yeah.
But I think the long and short of it for me is owning 2 is a good move because this is a fun team to invest in.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I really want 2 of them. Dango, like you say, watching the game, I probably made the wrong call with Kluivert, but Dango is the main man, isn't he? He seems, even when he's playing up front, he's left, he's right, he's down the wing, he's absolutely everywhere. Kluivert, I was quite fortunate just to get that. It was assist points, but I mean he passed the ball.
Nice little pass for the long ranger.
a 5-yard pass, and it was something nice and easy. But I mean, I really, really like them both. But with Dango, if I don't bring him in this week, I've looked at the fixture and thinking, do I bring him in for Brighton? Because again, that's more bench headaches. Do I bring him in for Spurs? I definitely bring him in for 29, but it's a really tricky one because it means that thing where you have too many players and too many headaches going on. But he's really good. He's really good.
And those fixtures are great. Like when we look at the game weeks around that free or the blank in 29, he does play in 29, and home to Brentford's a nice fixture. Like anyone on a free hit's going to have double Bournemouth mid, maybe even 3, but you could still get to that without it. But then in 30, it's Ipswich at home, and many are looking at a wildcard window of 30 or 31. It might be that 30 actually is a week you're not wildcarding. You're heavily invested in teams like Man City, who I think have maybe Leicester off the top of my head, and then it's 31 when you pull the trigger, when you know a little bit more about those doubles in 33 and the blanks ahead. So I like the idea of jumping on double Bournemouth now if you can. So if you were to, I mean, this is what your squad would look like. But of course, Rodgers out, Dango in. Great, you got money in the bank. It still means if you're making an assistant manager move, you'd be taking a -4 for those 2 transfers. So let's chat assistant manager and captaincy, because we've got some big decisions to make on those 2 things. Before we do, though, I'd love you guys to hit that like button, but do subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And you've been dropping so many comments about Max when he's on the channel. All good. Max, I'm guessing you've seen some of the lovely comments. People are like, bring him back. I've seen like make him get a channel of his own and stuff like that. So Are you
I've,
enjoying that and the,
I've,
the
I've,
content and stuff?
I've been very, very, very favourite. Yeah, very much enjoying them. Been looking at the comments and checking what people are saying, and just yeah, it's always nice to be liked, isn't it? So I like that people have enjoyed. Like I say, it's the journey of if we can stay at first, and everyone seems to be getting behind me, which is good. I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, you're becoming a community darling, mate, because it's rare we have the world number one and early in the season where we can document the journey. And say early, halfway through the season, and we can
Yeah.
document it. We had it a little bit 2 years ago with Ali Yahangarov, who was making sort of some appearances on this channel and chasing green arrows every now and then, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm delighted we can do that. So no, I can't thank you enough, mate, for coming on. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Also, whilst I'm doing the thank yous, let me just give a shout out to our sponsor, One Football, because they support this channel and they have all season. And in exchange for supporting the channel, I, of course, advertised, and this is a football app, and it lives on the home screen of my phone. And genuinely, I approached One Football and said, guys, I use you day and night. It makes sense if I can call you out on YouTube. And they were like, oh, we only really work with like big YouTubers because they want mass market, right? They sponsor Mark Goldridge on his watch alongs for Man United, and I'm like, oh, little old me. But they were like, because you're so into it, of course we'll back it. So, guys, if you do want to download the app, it's the best for football news, for live scores, for injury news, but video clips of the games is something I really use it for. You can even watch live Serie A games on the One Football app. Download the link in the description. It's free. Scan the QR code. It genuinely does live on the home screen of my phone. I've got it right there next to Instagram and BBC Sport. Max, I guess during Saturdays and Sundays, you are constantly checking scores here.
Yeah, much to sort of my girlfriend's not a pleasure. Constantly on the phone checking the scores, and if we're out driving, I'm saying to her, check the score for me, check the score for me. So I've even got her to download it on her phone so she can check it easily for me. I'm constantly you have to know the scores. I have to know the scores. So yeah, definitely need it in one place.
I'm the same. Like because I'm often doing drives at the weekend if you're visiting family, and I'll be like, oh, Cam, can you just tell me the City score? I want to know if Haaland scored. And she'll be like, so therefore it's made sense for her just to get One Football on her phone. So it's brilliant.
Exactly.
So I love that. Yeah, guys, check out the link in the description or scan away. So let's talk two big topics this week for both our teams. But I took this image from Focal online, but I've just added some manager names that you like the look of, Max. So table bonus opportunities are highlighted in green. We know Leicester, West Ham, Wolves, Ipswich, and Southampton, all if they win their games, they get the table bonus. At the time of recording, Crystal Palace will also get table bonus. If out of nowhere on Wednesday night, Aston Villa beat Liverpool, Palace can't get table bonus. So if you are watching this after that game and Villa have won, take Palace out of the equation. But let's assume Glasner qualifies for it.
Yep.
And Villa draw or lose, which is more likely.
Yep.
He's the only one you've marked down as a possible bonus manager you like. You're not looking at Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton, West Ham, Wolves, but you are looking at Glasner. And then for straight, just forget bonus, but I want points, Arteta and Hurzler. Let's go one by one, shall we? Let's go Arteta first. What are you thinking?
I think with Arteta, I think with the assistant managership, people have gone down two different routes, haven't they? They've gone for the chasing the bonus, trying to get as much as they can, which is fantastic, which is really, really good decision. I know it paid off massively with David Moyes. For me, I've just seen it as hopefully a surefire way to bank just maybe 18 more points with slot doubling, and then maybe in this one game week, maybe a nice just 9-pointer, 10-pointer. Just a little easy points. So I think Arteta against West Ham, I think they should win. I mean, they're at home. They looked good against Leicester. I know obviously there's still injury issues, but they still seem to be ticking over and looking pretty decent. So Arteta, I'm liking. I mean, it's a straight swap point money wise from slot to Arteta, so I can afford it. I just feel like it'll be an easy banker of points, which
safe bet.
Safe bet, exactly. Safe bet. And that's what I've
just like slot was.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's what I've seen the assistant manager as a nice way of just getting nice banker points, and then we can move on. But
you don't need to take risks, so I get it.
Exactly.
Like, I don't like the Arteta shout. If I was you and world number one, I probably would. And I guess the only doubt I have on Arteta is it took them 81 minutes to score against Leicester, and without Saka and Havertz and Jesus and Martinelli, are they lacking something up front? But West Ham
Mm.
have been bad. Are you very confident of an Arsenal win? I mean, the bookies would say so. I think they've got it like 75% or something, you know?
I think they have to. I think they have to win against West Ham. I mean, West Ham still, I know they look slightly better now, but I still think Arsenal are going to win at home. I think they'll have too much for West Ham, and I've got players in my team. I've got Gabriel, so I feel like I'll be banking on my Gabriel pick as well, which would feel more beneficial for me and happier. But yeah, that's what I think. My current strategy is looking for I want a nice banker of points. I don't want to do anything too risky. That's why I've highlighted Hurzler as well at the bottom there against Southampton.
Yeah, money's not an issue for you, is it? So Hurzler Arteta, exactly. I guess, doesn't matter in terms of price. How do you rate Hurzler then? Because I like this one. Because I also think we got to remember the clean sheet and goal points. And if I'm thinking which fixture has a 4-0 win in them, i.e. you're going to get 4 extra points for 4 goals and +2 for the clean sheet, as well as the 6 for the win.
Yeah,
I actually quite fancy Brighton.
Yeah, I think Brighton would be. I think again should beat Southampton on paper. I know Southampton are at home, but they should beat them. And knowing the way Hurzler likes to start out his team, I probably see Brighton conceding, but I concede him probably scoring 4, 5 maybe, just because he sets out with about 6 attackers some games in crazy formations.
Win or bust, isn't it, from Hurzler every time?
It always feels like a win or bust, and I think off the back of them winning at the weekend, I think that would be again somewhere good to move to. Should again feel like a banker of points and could, like you say, rise some opportunities for some heavy scoring in that game, and hopefully, fingers crossed for a clean sheet.
Yeah. Okay, so between Arteta and Hurzler, if you make a change and you're not chasing bonus, are you 60-40 on Arteta? If I'm just judging by the way you're talking, it feels like you're around 60-40. Is that, I mean, obviously this is all subject to change, guys. This is recording on Wednesday. Who knows what happens come Friday and press conference news. But at the moment, where are you at in terms of percentages?
I think I'm probably 80-20 on Arteta, if I'm honest.
Oh, yeah.
I think Arteta at the moment, if it was between those two, is a banker. If it was a banker for me, probably Arteta, just because I feel like that's the safer bet against home against West Ham, the better team. That's probably where my head will be if it goes down to those two. But I'm going to talk about in a second. I'm assuming Glasner is an exciting opportunity there.
Yeah, let's assume that Palace can qualify then for the bonus.
Yep.
This is a coin toss of a football match, isn't it? I think most neutral football fans, and you and I aren't invested in Fulham or Palace emotionally, but when we look at these bonus games, we all go, it's not a coin test to get a bonus from a Leicester or a Southampton. They were the underdogs, right?
Yeah.
Palace, Fulham don't feel like no team feels like the underdogs. I mean, many will say you can't call it. I think it's going to be a draw. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Fulham win or a Palace win, but you're in the mixer to get it. And on any given day, Palace can turn it on, as can Fulham. But you like this as the only bonus option, do you?
I like it as the only bonus one, definitely. I think I like I said, that's that to me. I know obviously Fulham are clearly, obviously, more than 5 points ahead or 5 places ahead in the table, but such an evenly matched teams on paper. I feel like they are. I feel like I said, Palace could easily get a draw there. They could easily win. That would be the ultimate coin toss of an approach. You pick Glasner. If you get the win, amazing, fantastic. Get a draw, perfect. A loss, it is what it is. I can still see Palace scoring in that game. I mean, Mateta is banging form. I love Jean-Philippe Mateta. I love the chant about him as well. He's just such like a, I don't hate to use the word, he's such a vibey player at the moment. He's just good vibes about him. I like him. But yeah, I think Palace look good. They look decent. They don't look bad. And
against Fulham, Everton, they dominated. Like, they had the higher XG. I know they lost the football match, but then Fulham were awesome against Forest. That has to be said. Yeah. But Jean-Philippe Mateta, you're right. Like, the vibe's there. Like, he is on. He scored. I'm just counting up his goals in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. He's got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 goals in 6 games. Yeah. Like, we say it a lot about strikers being streaky, but genuinely, he does feel like one of the streakier number 9s. I remember at the end of last season where he couldn't stop scoring. And the underlying numbers are there too. Like, in the last 5 games, he's had, this is his XGI, his expected goal involvement, for any player to hit 1.0 XGI in a game is seriously threatening, right? Haaland, you're happy with 1.0s for a good Haaland performance. Well, Mateta's had 1.24, 2.25. Okay, against Brentford, he didn't really show up, 0.03. But then 1.24 and 1.12. Like in 4 of the last 5 games, he smashed a 1.0 XGI. That's all from Fantasy Football Scout members area, by the way, guys. But unbelievable numbers. He's the talisman in that team.
Absolutely. I mean, everything is going through him and to him, and he's creating everything, and he just looks up for it. He looks like he's really enjoying his football at the moment, which I think is a big thing for players. If they're enjoying what they're doing, enjoying the team they're playing in, usually they thrive more. But I mean, I say all these things about Mateta. I'm probably not going to own him all season. But
I know, and if you're free hitting in 29 as well, again, sorry, you're not free hitting in 29. It's hard to buy him because he blanks in 29. But before 29, he does have, for those that are free hitting in 29, like possibly me, in 28, he plays Ipswich at home. Like it'd be really cool to be able to punt for those that are on that strategy of free hit 29. You can punt on him in 28 because no one else will want to buy him because they'll go, oh, he blanks next week. That's a nice differential for a few out there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think he's still under 10% on, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he's
8.1.
Yeah, I mean, he's so good. He's really, really good. And I think, like you say, if people are like myself, going down that route of 29, thinking I don't want to bring any more blank players in, I think he could be a big player that game week 28.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so look, the table bonus, just to conclude, this is some of the bookies' odds. They think from the 6 fixtures that could qualify for bonus, they're saying, the bookies, and I disagree with this somewhat, that Leicester and Palace and Ipswich are sort of, the win percentages are way higher on those 3. You're looking at Ipswich at 26, Palace at 27%, Leicester at 28. But then you go down to Wolves, Southampton, West Ham, who are all under 20.
Yeah.
You're still thinking, though, if you're back in one of these, it'll be Palace. What are the chances of you going for a table bonus? Are you looking at like 10% chance, or if Palace qualify for it?
I think if Palace get it, I really like it. I think it's really good. I think it's to go against what I've just said about, the safe option. I feel like that kind of is a safe option because I'm playing for at least a draw. If they win, fantastic, but draws is really, really good. And I think those 2 teams against each other is such a coin toss. It's too hard to call for that game. Like if I had to wait, if I had to go for a definitive, this is what I'm doing. It has to be Arteta, just for the safety of the points. But it's probably the last. Are we going to see the assistant managership next season? This might be the last time that I get to have a bit of fun with it, possibly. So
I'd be surprised.
Crazy. Yeah,
I'd be surprised if we see it next season, and that's not me in the know from the Premier League, but just knowing how the Premier League have worked with chips before, they'll be looking for mass engagement from chips, and we know that there's a huge amount of less engaged managers that aren't going to use this chip. They don't understand it, or they're going to use it week 1 and not even use transfers. Like we even know in the top 10k, there was 2.6% of managers that had left it on Moyes. They didn't even change it for Moyes. Now that paid off because Moyes won, but it was an error on their part in terms of decision making. The Premier League will see the numbers at the end of the season and go, this hasn't engaged the masses. I'd be shocked if it's around next year. But mate, you don't need to worry about enjoyment from the chip. You're world number 1. All you need to worry about is winning FPL. So the fact that you won't have an opportunity to chase table bonus and get a 20-pointer, I would say that to the vast majority watching. If you've been on slot, don't go to Arteta. Go and have some fun.
Yeah.
But if you're world number 1,
points need the points.
I wouldn't worry about not being able to watch football games and feel like you can get a 20-pointer. Like forget that. You can win FPL. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's true. That's true.
Your rules are very different to the rest of us, unfortunately, which is a privileged position for you to be in.
It is.
Okay, sweet. Well, look, that's enough on the assistant manager. We've spoken about how you like Semenyo, but it's unlikely you need to make that move this week. Captaincy is a big one, though, guys. We have to discuss it because, look, for many, and Max, maybe you're in this category, Mo Salah will just be, it's a gimme. But there are alternative options this week, which I certainly like and I'm looking at. By the way, guys, just another shout out to hit those buttons if you fancy. We'd love some subs. Mate, I'm not going Mo Salah captain, but this isn't about my team. We'll talk about why I'm not in a sec. Let me get your thoughts. If I was again world number one, maybe I would be going Mo Salah.
Yeah.
I mean, how set are you on captaincy? The armband is currently on Salah for you.
To be honest, I've not paid it much thought. At the moment, I've just left it on Salah at the moment. I want to see what happens as we get closer to the deadline. But I think this is a great week, like you say. Therefore, if people want to go for a differential captain, this is one of those weeks to do it.
Yeah.
Salah against City away. I mean, if this game came last week, I'd be dead on Salah, 100% dead on Salah. But now that I've seen City play against Newcastle, and Newcastle didn't look great, but City looked decent, and they kept a clean sheet. They didn't, they kept, a banging form striker like Isak, sort of, tamed and kept him quiet. They could probably do the same to Salah, but for me at the moment, I'm leaving it on him just because of, like you said, it's the safety, and I need to. I hate it because that's not how I play. But it is the safety of Salah at the moment. But there's, just looking at my team there's some fantastic options all over the board. I mean, Mbeumo against Leicester, Wissa against Leicester. I mean, Mbeumo in recent weeks has looked less involved. I think that's due to Sade playing. Or is it Shard?
Yeah, Kevin Shard, you're right, because he's played a back four in the last 3 games, which means it's Mbeumo, Wissa and Sharda. The 2 games before that, he played Liverpool and City, which means he plays a back 5, which means Sharda drops out and it's Mbeumo, Wissa down the middle. Yeah. Sharda's not good for Mbeumo.
He's not, and I think Mbeumo seems to be he's out of the mix a little bit. So I mean, there's still decent options there. Mbeumo can turn big any given week.
Sharda in the team or not, and Mbeumo's still class.
Exactly. I mean, Cliver against Wolves, that could be interesting. That could be tasty. If I bring in Danga against Wolves, that could be a really tasty differential captain. But for me at the moment, it has to be Mo Salah. I mean, he's done me well so far this season. I think someone said to me that I've only captained 3 people this season.
Wow.
So I've only captained Haaland at the start. I captained Saka for 1 week, and then every single week, I think for the past
Mo's being your boy.
10 has been Mo. And there's been opportunities where I've thought about straying away from him, and I probably should have when I think it was Isak got the big points against Wolves, but I can't bet against him. I can't bet against him. He's my guy.
I like that. Well, look, Man City, if they go, again, we're recording this before Wednesday night's games, but let's just see, because if Man City play 120 minutes against Real Madrid, again, it's an away game for Man City. They've got to go to Spain. Again, that's more reason to go Salah. Liverpool, of course, yes, they have a midweek fixture too, but it's in England and it's not a Champions League knockout game. Man City, by the way, against Newcastle were amazing. Like it looked like for the first time since Rodri's been out that they didn't miss him. And that's purely because of Nico Gonzalez. I just want to show the average position map here in the pass map. On the left-hand side, we can see most passes, most XG chain, most progressive passing, most centrality. 4 of the 5 key stats there is all Nico Gonzalez. We have seen Kovacic, we've seen Gundogan, we've seen a few different players trying to play that Rodri role, and they've struggled. Pep went double pivot. He played Rico Lewis right back, who then inverted, and everything was Nico Gonzalez. He was quoted after the game, Pep, saying, "I've got myself my mini Rodri," and that's all they need to be looking better again. Nico Gonzalez, so good for the team in terms of clean sheets and potential goal threat. I'm not saying it's going to be completely changed. They're going to go beat Liverpool, but I do wonder if they've slightly turned a corner now. 4-0 against Newcastle was super impressive. And Marmoush, Savino, and Foden all played so well. That's going to be a proper tight one, that one. Slot versus City.
It'll be a good game, be an interesting game. And like I say, I think if City get something against Real this week in normal time, I mean that might spur them on. That can do wonders. That can galvanize team, can't it? A big game like that. But equally, if they, like you say, play 120 minutes and they lose, that I wouldn't want to be in that City dressing room after that game if that happens. But they do look like they might have turned a corner, hopefully, because I mean, there's some good players there. Like Marmoush looks fantastic, looks really good. Now, I'm a big fan. I'm definitely going to bring him in after I think Gameweek 30, 31. But yeah, City might have turned a corner.
Yeah, no, they do look bright. I mean, I still feel they'll be vulnerable against good attacks like Liverpool and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But again, let's see. Against
Yeah.
Newcastle, they were great. Newcastle had such an off day. No one's looking at Isak. I do wonder if Isak captaincy versus Forest. I know Forest have been great defensively, but Fulham put up awesome numbers against Forest. Matt Sells was inspired. That was never a 2-1. Like that could have been a 3-4-0. And therefore, because I'm chasing and I want to punt against Salah because I can at my rank, I'm going to be captaining, I think, Isak. But we'll talk more about my captaincy in my team selection video. I don't want to bore you with it, Max. But yeah, I'm going punty on captaincy on Isak.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Why not? Bit of fun.
And you're at 1.2 million.
At the end of the day, it's just a game, isn't it? And we're all just trying to have some fun with it. So if it, I like it. I think it's a big call. And if you do go for it, I will be chanting you on. Hopefully, you'll be come up with a big 3-goal hat trick.
Oh, it'd be amazing, mate. I need that. I mean, to be fair, you can because Isak won't be 100% EO. So yeah, you can be spurring him on as long as world number 2, 3, or 4 doesn't have Isak captain.
Oh no, exactly.
Then we can agree. I'll be looking at Elite T and Charlie's team and Ina Craft Brie. So yeah, that'll be loads of fun, guys. Thank you so much for watching. On your way out, do subscribe, and Max, thank you so much for coming on again. I know you're up on work this week, so I appreciate you taking the time.
No, thank you very much. Always a pleasure to be on. Always, like I say, always enjoy just coming on and talking football. And it's the best thing in the world, isn't it? Football, best thing in the world. Watching it, talking about it. So, if more opportunity to do that, I'm always happy.
Oh, good man. Thank you, guys. Drop a comment and any advice you've got for me or Max, your thoughts on captaincy or our transfers or assistant managerships, and I'll get back to you in the comments. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.